Hello guys, what's up? Hope you are doing well. In today's video, we are going to be talking about trend lines. In our previous class, we talked about support and resistance, and we are going to go further into it because as a retail trader, support and resistance concept is a very good concept you must learn. So now we are going to be talking about trend lines. Trend lines also act as support and resistance on our chart. So what is a trend line? A trend line is a line that is drawn on our chart connecting swings point like a swing high or a swing low on our chart, especially in a trending market. So we can only draw a trend line in the trending market. That means you see that the market is in an uptrend or a downtrend. We can only draw a trend line in that case. We can't draw a trend line on a ranging market, so we can only draw a trend line on a trending market. That's why it's called trend line. Let's follow it that way. So we can only draw a trend line when we see price either going up or going down. So we connect the swing points. Okay, like in this case now, let me zoom. Okay, in this case now we have two swing points here that the market is respecting. We have this one here. The market came to this particular point, made this rally to the upside. We see price coming back again, making this rally again to the upside. So now to draw a trend line, we must make sure that or for a trend line to be a valid trend line, we must make sure that we are able to connect at least two swing points. It should not be less than two. One thing we should notice that you don't force a trend line. You don't force a trend line at all. You just connect it. It must be, let's say, it must be natural. So you don't have to force it. So you understand that now. And at least we must have a minimum of two touches. A minimum of two touches. So to consider a trend line valid. So in this case, we have the first touch here. We have the second touch here. So now what we are waiting for now is for price. Now we see that this trend line now is acting as a support. So you see it now, just like I said earlier, trend line also act as support or resistance. So now we see now that this particular trend line is acting as a support because now price came to this particular point. We see the support acting here, shifting the price up. Came back the second time, we see support acting, shift to the price up, and we see now that it's coming for this for the third touch. And once we see this third touch here, this is where we begin to look for buys. Once we get our confirmation through price action, that's through the kinds of candlesticks that are forming and confirmation from lower time frame, we enter the market. And here will be our next target. This particular point will be our next target. And as you can also see in the upside, we also see we also have another trend line because price is also respecting this trend line, because we see trend line acting as a support, a resistance. Now we see now that price, okay, let me zoom this a little bit. Okay, we have this first touch here that drew price down. We have this, and now we have this one confirming that is a valid trend line. So like I said earlier, we must have at least minimum of two touches. So since we have this second touch, now we are anticipating for price to come down to make the third touch here before we look for buys. So this is how to trade using trend line, because they also act as support and resistance. So now if you check inside this if you check this area, now we can see now that we can also draw our trend line here. Yeah, okay, now let's check it out. Let's add the tools, trend line. Like I said, you don't have to force a trend line. Just make sure you have. Okay, we have this to the upside. Let me see if we can add another trend line to the downside. Okay, Yeah, this is it. Okay, let's see. Okay, now this is it. Yeah, we have two touches. Okay, now we now see that we have a valid trend line here. We see this trend line, particular trend line, acting as a support for price. We see price came to this trend line, bounce back, reacting to this one. We see now we have the first touch here, we have the second touch here, which has made it a valid trend line. We have this first touch here, we have the second touch here, making it a valid trend line. So now, like I said in our previous video, I say once we are trading support and resistance concept, what we are looking for is price to come into a support level and reverse back, or come into a resistance level and reverse back. Yeah, that's the concept I discussed in our last video. So now, and I also mentioned in the last video that whenever we see our support or resistance broken, whenever we see our support or resistance broken, it means price is about to make a long rally. And if you check in this particular instance now, we see that price broke our trend line, which is our resistance. This was a candle that broke the trend line, because we see price closing above the trend line. We see price closing above the trend line, which indicate now that our resistance have been broken. That's the selling pressure coming into the market has been subdued by the buyers. Now we see price now. After that, after the breakout, we see price going up. So you see it now. So whenever we see support broken, support or resistance broken, it's telling us an indication that, yeah, either the buyers or sellers has gained more momentum in the market, because I have already explained this concept about the battles between buyers and sellers trying to shift price. And this will give you more understanding when you are trading support and resistance. So in this concept now, we see now the reason why there's a reversal here at this particular point was because there were sellers in the market that drove the price down. Buyers in this area now drove the price upward again. So we see it now. So we see buyers and sellers now making impact on price. This is the concept you must understand as a retail trader. You must understand the concept of buyers and sellers, so you will not be caught at the wrong side of the market. Hope you understand. So you will not be caught at the wrong side of the market. Now we see now sellers again bringing the price down to this point. We see buyers again shifting it upward. Now the sellers at this point now could not drive the price down. So we have this long candlestick indicating buyers in the market. So now if you are here, you have not gotten the ebook I talked about on candlesticks, you can still message me now on WhatsApp. I dropped my WhatsApp number in the group already. So just message me, so I'll give you the materials on candlestick, because if you don't understand candlestick formation and all of that, it will be very difficult for you to trade support and resistance concept, because you will not be understanding the psychology behind the price action happening. So this long candlestick here was an indication of the buying pressure that came in. So we saw now that the sellers could not drive price down, because we have a long buy, we have a long bullish candle formation that broke through this particular resistance. So we now see that buyers have subdued the sellers in the market, and this is how we now saw price shifting up to this level here, grabbing all of this move. So we see that now. So this is how trend line works. Like I said, don't force a trend line. Make sure you have a minimum of two touches. And when trading this concept, you see that you buy at support, you buy at support, sell at resistance, or you wait for support, the support to be broken or the resistance to be broken before entering the market. It all depends on you. So go ahead now and practice this. Practice this very well, and see how it can work for you. So hope you understand it now. Do not first a trend line. Make sure you have a minimum of two touches. Yeah, a minimum of two touches. So Let's go ahead and practice this now.